Going on, you guys, back again with another video. Today we're going to be working on 2018 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road 4x4. So we're doing a pretty decent sized facelift on this truck. I got plenty of parts coming for this thing, so I'm super excited. One of the first things that actually arrived is here in this box. So let's go ahead and crack it open and show you guys what we're going to be working on. Alright, you guys, so what we got here is the TRD Pro model skid plate for the Tacoma. As you can see, I already went ahead and kind of taped off the threaded holes, or the hole openings, for the little oil filter cover, which is this here. It's held in by just 4 bolts. I went ahead and removed this, and I'm going to spray this on the side. And I am going to leave the red TRD letters on there because I'm actually going to replace them with these cement colored TRD letters from Tough Skins. Now, the backing for these letters actually hold on with double-sided tape, so I figured the double-sided tape will stick a lot better to this material than it would for if I were to spray it with this. Which what I'm going to be spraying it with is Rust-Oleum Truck Bed Pro Grade, just a flat black spray can. And now the reason why I'm going this route, originally I did want to do powder coating. However, I was going to pay maybe $100 or $200 for powder coating, and it's a skid plate. So the reality of it is that it is going to get messed up, and it's just, I figured it'd be a lot easier or a lot cheaper to touch up any marks or chips or anything that I want to fix with just the spray can. So that's why I'm going this route. I'm sure powder coating would probably look a lot cleaner, and I know it is very durable, but nonetheless, in the long run, I feel like this would be a better choice. So I'm going to go ahead and just start spraying these. I'm going to let these dry really well overnight, so the install is going to be on a different day. But I'm going to go ahead and spray this down, put a couple coats on it. Once I got it all dry and nice, take off those red TRD letters, replace them with these cement letters that will match the truck a lot better. And this should be a great first step for the facelift of our Tacoma. So here we go. Alright, you guys, so I've given this thing a couple hours to dry, and the finish on it is actually pretty damn good, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it is very, very textured, as you would expect bed liner to be, but that's gonna be a good thing, because it seems like it's gonna be very sturdy or durable, or at least, you know, as durable as we want it to be for everyday driving. Now, whenever I do take this thing off-roading, if I were to hit rocks or something, I'm pretty damn sure that this is gonna get either chipped or scratched off, but it's okay. The good thing about this, and the reason why I went this route, like I stated earlier, is I can always just go back and respray it if I need to. So now, before I put it onto the truck, I am going to let it sit for a couple days just so I make sure 100% that it is dry and everything is done. But what we can go ahead and do is tip this up and kind of start to remove these factory letters. Now the factory letters, alright you guys, so these factory letters are held in by just these little clips and double-sided tape on the other side. So all I'm going to do is kind of squeeze these in, and then with a pry tool, a plastic pry tool, just to make sure I don't scratch any of the fairly fresh paint back here, I'm just going to get up underneath it, grab an edge of the left. Alright, so we'll see, this should work a little better, kind of just get up behind it. And one thing I did notice about the Tough Skin decals that I ordered is I believe they're a little thicker than these, so it should fill in the gap pretty nicely. And you go just like that. I'll do the same all around. And there you go. I got one of the letters off. And as you can see, like I said, I left the letters on for that specific reason. That way, whenever I do throw on the 3M or the new Tough Skin letters, the 3M tape will hopefully bond to this a little better. And I also got a little bit of super glue, of Gorilla Glue, that I may put on there, just a couple dots, maybe 3 on the edges, just to 100% be sure that it's going to stay on. So I'm going to go ahead and take off these other 2 letters and we'll pick it back up. Now, the only thing that's really different about these and the OEM ones is that these don't have those 3 little, I guess, mounting little things on them, but should not be that big of a deal. So I'm going to peel this off. And like I said, I'm just going to use a dot, maybe right in the middle. A dot of this stuff there. Get closer to the edge. And that should be plenty. I definitely want this 3M to be the only thing holding it down and do its job. That's why I'm not covering the whole thing. Because then what's the point of having the double-sided tape? Get that drop into place. And there you go, just like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to the other 2 letters, and then we'll be ready in a couple days to clean all this off, try to get all these handprints off, and like I said, if it doesn't, we'll respray it, and if I can't get it clean, we'll throw it on the truck. Alright you guys, so it's been a couple days since I last painted that the TRD Pro skid plate back there, as you can see. I let it dry out, made sure it was 100% good to go. It did get a little dirty. I do have dogs, so there was a bunch of dog hair on it and stuff, but I just sprayed it down. That's why it's sitting back there and probably still a little wet. The only thing holding this in place is a couple 12mm bolts and 13mm bolts. So what you are going to need is your proper sockets and a ratchet. That's all you're going to need. The TRD Off-Road, which is the model that my truck is, comes with 2 different skid plates. It's a front skid plate here, and then a transfer case skid plate right behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and take those 2 off, and then that one single plate, from my understanding, will replace both of these smaller ones. So I'll try to bring you guys up under here, but it's going to be a little hard. But like I said, it's just 4 bolts on each skid plate, 8 in total. So now we're going to remove the rear one. And these spacers, you guys, these were, when I did my lift, these spacers were I believe it was the CB axle drop kit. These specific spacers were for the skid plate. And if you look up here, I'm not sure if the camera's catching it, but up here I do have a spacer. That was basically to make sure, or to keep less pressure off of my axles. Giving them less of a angle, I guess, downwards. I guess just to preserve the life of them over time. So that's what those are for. And I got those from headstrongoffroad.com. So check those out if you are interested. Or if you're doing a lift that's anywhere from 2 to 3 inches, those may come in handy, like I said, just to help preserve the life of your axles. What we're going to go ahead and do is to get these mounted up, these new bolts on the new skid plate are a 17mm bolt. However, I went ahead and grabbed an 18mm socket and put some electrical tape around the edges just to try to keep the paint on the head of these bolts. I know it's a skid plate, it's going to get beat up, but if I can preserve some of that paint, at least just for some IG pics or something, I'll go ahead and try my best. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to get, which I believe this actually will work, but I'm going to go get another socket so I don't ruin this, but I think these are a 17 or an 18. But what we're going to go ahead and do is these frames here, or these brackets that bolt onto the frame, we're going to remove this front bolt here, which is the same on this side. And then we're going to remove, there's 2 more bolts in here on each side. We're going to move the furthest one back. Let me see if I can show you. So we'll be removing that bolt there. not the second, but the third bolt there on both sides, which is going to be replaced by these front 4, which already come with a pretty decent sized spacer on it. And then for the rear 2, they're already empty, and we're going to be using the OEM mounting screw in there. So let me put you guys down. This is definitely going to be kind of hard with just myself, but I'm going to go ahead and remove these bolts first, and then I'll show you guys how I struggle to put this thing on.
One eternity later.
Alright, you guys, so it's a new day. Obviously you guys saw me struggling last night the way that I did. Eventually I did get it all down and right. I will say part of it was user error, because I actually did not remove 2 of those back bolts off that frame that I showed you guys. Once I got those removed, it all kind of lined up better, but still holding the whole thing up by yourself was a little hard. I'm going to go ahead and jump under here. It is really, really tight under there, but I'm going to show you exactly what I had to do. For those of you guys that don't have this old man MU's CB lowering kit, or spacer kit, I should say, you shouldn't have to worry about this. It should be a direct bolt-on, bolt-off type deal. But for those of you guys that do have it, I'll go ahead and show you how I had to use these spacers on the TRD Pro skid plate. Alright, you guys, so I will tell you right from the start, I do not know the exact terminology for all this, but I'm going to do my best. So here is the axles going to my driver's side tire. Now, there is the spacer that I used per that CB drop kit or spacer kit. So with that being said, that did make this whole front diff, I want to say, or front transfer case sit lower, which was rubbing up and hitting up against the TRD skid plate. So what I had to go ahead and do is, let me see if I can show you guys. Like I said, it's extremely tight in here. Okay, so you can actually see it a lot better on this side. There is the bigger spacer to the left side. That drops the whole transfer case down, and then on the right side there you see the spacer that comes with the TRD Pro skid plate, and then on top of that you see another little shim spacer that I installed myself. Like I said, the kit comes with 2 for those middle bolts, but you only really need 1, and that is just to get some more clearance for that little part that sits down there. If you look through this little opening, you can see that there's plenty of space, or there's just enough space underneath. It's really, really hard to show you guys, but just take my word for it. There is a little small space underneath there. And the most important part where I was rubbing and bottoming out, not allowing me to tighten these bolts all the way, was underneath that little mounting point there. If I put the light behind it, you can kind of see the light shines through the bottom of there. Right there. So there's enough clearance to not rub and have any issues. So that's what you got to go ahead and do. If you have this spacer kit, just go ahead and use 1 on that middle bolt, and then the front 2 bolts and these back two stock bolts, you don't need any at all. The stock hardware will work for those. So 2 up here, 2 right in the middle there, and then 2 front ones. And then you got your little cap that gives you access to your oil filter right there. But we'll say this thing looks pretty damn sweet. Cement color matched TRD logo also looks pretty damn sweet. And that's pretty much it for this video, you guys. Quick little install that I kind of struggled a little bit on, but hopefully you guys don't struggle as much as I did. Like I said, just get yourself another set of hands, or another pair of hands, a helping hand if you can. And that's pretty much it. Stay tuned. The next part of this project, taco facelift that we got going on, is definitely going to show that skid plate a lot more. Comment down below and see if you could guess what's next. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.